Good day, everyone. I'm here with my groupmates to talk to you about the book entitled Making Peace with Yourself, Turning Your Weaknesses into Strengths. If you could change at least one thing about yourself to make your life better, what would it be? What personal barrier has been your nemesis in your love relationships or career? If you were to ask your spouse, ex-spouse, close friend, or even co-workers what your weak spot is, what might you hear? Each and one of us have at least one Achilles heel, or in the modern term, weakness, security, and vulnerability. But before everything else, let's first talk about the Achilles heel and about its origin. The term Achilles heel comes from the Greek myth of the great warrior Achilles. And according to the legend, when Achilles' mother dipped him into the river Styx to make him invulnerable, the water washed every single inch of Achilles' body except for his heel, where his mother is holding him. And that one weak spot of his was both the proof of his being a human being and his potential downfall. Until he met his rival Paris, who shot a fatal arrow into his heel, and that was the downfall of Achilles. An Achilles heel refers to the part of ourselves that is both our greatest handicap and our greatest challenge. If we can accept and learn from our Achilles heel, it can be our source of power, a stimulus to our growth, and an essential part of our humanity. That is one of the reasons why we shouldn't be like Achilles, who resists his own vulnerabilities, who thinks that just because he's strong, he doesn't have any weakness at all. And remember, what you resist persists, so we shouldn't be running away from our weaknesses. We should be facing it head on, because that is the only way we can actually get past it. So let me ask you this. What is your Achilles heel? And remember, every single one of us have an Achilles heel. There is no such thing as a perfect human being, because nobody is perfect. And I want you to think that you are bigger than your Achilles heel, that it is not impossible to turn your weaknesses into strengths. And you can start by accepting your flaws, your imperfections, and try to enhance it every single time until it became one of the greatest assets that you have.
Chapter 2: Making Peace with Your Past. We all need to love and be loved, yet finding and sustaining an intimate relationship can be one of life's most difficult challenges. Why is it hard for people to find and sustain love? The biggest reason is because we are afraid to be hurt again. But the more we resist being open and vulnerable, the more loneliness and frustration persist. The fear of getting hurt blocks our love and keeps us from a secure and lasting intimacy. It may be the most painful weakness. This weakness can also bring more problems that will make it harder for us to find love. It is hard for some people to find the right one because he or she is afraid to be hurt again. Their standards might become high because of the fear of getting hurt. So how do we let go of this weakness or turn it into our strength? This book tells us that we need to let go of our past anger and grudges. This exercise will help us in doing that. First, you need to find a place where no one will disturb you. Then sit comfortably, close your eyes and imagine you are talking to the person who hurt you before. Next, tell him or her your resentments and regrets that you still harbor. You need to be precise and avoid using generalizations. As you describe your resentments, you are allowed to release any anger, rage, or sadness. Play act, exaggerate your feelings, scream, do anything to let your feelings go. After doing this exercise, take some time to relax before going out of the room. This exercise helps a lot of people in using their past weaknesses to form more healthy relationships in the future.
Making peace with your body appearance. When I look in the mirror, I am never quite satisfied. How do you feel about your body when you glance in your bathroom mirror, or when you walk past a store window or mirrored office divider? What flaws did you notice? When you stop to look at your reflection, did you smile and say, "Hey, you look terrific"? Or did you immediately focus on something that didn't seem quite right? Every one of us carries a deforming mirror where he sees himself too small or too large, too thin or too fat. Even you see yourself so free, blind, and scared. Once the deforming mirror is smashed, there is the possibility of wholeness and possibility of joy. When we think about it, we realize that our value as a person doesn't depend on how attractive we are, yet try as we may to separate our self-worth from our looks. We continue to compare ourselves with others. The social feedback loop. If you judge yourself harshly, you send out messages to others that say, "Don't notice me," or "Without makeup, I'll be a mess." Such self-criticism encourages others to underrate your attractiveness. There's a lot of painful judgment about yourself, but remember that your purpose in listing your judgment about your body is not to punish yourself, but to love yourself fully. Your most important beauty exercise. Whenever you look in the mirror, you make a basic choice to feel either satisfied or dissatisfied. Instead of negative response about yourself, using beauty treatment can make it positive response. As you continue to say "I am beautiful" and release the judgment that come to mind, you will begin to notice features you like about yourself and enhance the way you look and feel. Accepting yourself doesn't mean ceasing to exercise or watch your diet. All growth is the integration of seemingly opposite values. As you get older, it means accepting yourself fully and taking responsibility for improving your physical and emotional fitness. When you live in an active life, you tend to get fewer physical problems and you feel good about yourself.
Making peace with disapproval, I can stand criticism. Giving and receiving criticism are difficult challenges that often lead to misunderstanding. When you criticize someone, are you ready to accept the outcome? If yes, what are you going to do? Or when you got criticized, what is your response? Is your situation get resolved? Or did you stop your feelings inside? Learn to value criticism. Learn to accept it, deal with it, and tolerate with it. We need feedback from others to learn what we can improve. What are we truly need and want? Making criticism for you is essential to the success of yourself and your personal relationships. There are two types of criticism: destructive criticism and constructive criticism. Destructive criticism is meant to put down, manipulate, and its effect is largely negative, while constructive criticism is supportive, empowering, and commit to a positive outcome. When giving or receiving criticism, we know how right we are and how wrong the other person is. Focusing on point of view means learning that at any given moment, each of us is right from his or her own perspective. Remember that when it comes to feelings, no one is wrong. If you were tense and defensive under criticism, do not hesitate to ask 20 minutes time out. Time to regain your composure, time to reflect, and time to digest and integrate the person's advice. Inner critic. When we were criticized, we focus only on our shortage or shortcomings, not on our achievements or on the things that we did well. Approval trap. The harder you try to make other people happy, the more unhappy you felt when they were still unsatisfied. By overcoming approval trap, learn how to hear without discomfort and evaluate it without necessarily acting on it. Have a commitment not to being right but to being effective. Instead of anger, practice it in changing it to constructive criticism. One of the great lessons in life is to be able to say no as well as yes to those we love and work with. For example, dealing with a critical boss. Criticism is bound to be a part of any job. The key is to learn to respond effectively. Support your boss by acknowledging the importance of situation. Make no firm and specific. Offer suggestions without unrealistic promises. Make the loud voice of your boss be your motivation, not your downfall. Another example is when you did wrong in the eyes of your parents. You were worried that it might make your parents reject you, so you reflect yourself. You learn to do everything to hold yourself what was unacceptable. You learn to surpass your uniqueness thoroughly to become a better version of your parents wanted you to become.
Making peace with time. I'm always feeling tense and rushed. Have you ever encountered chasing time? Like when you're impatiently waiting for your instant coffee machine to boil and the transit system is running half hour late. Most people who gladly become less tense and rush if only they had the time. Have you been stuck in the traffic inhaling exhaust porn? Your mind and blood pressure racing? Did you use the time of waiting to opportunity to relax, listen to music, or daydream about your favorite person? Or did you blame yourself for not leaving early? Hidden motivation for being chronically late. A test of loyalty defines a test of virtue, stress addiction, a fear of being controlled, revenge, intimidation, testing, and unclear priorities. Mother's work is never done. The pressure grows worse when we don't allow time for ourselves, time for relaxation and fun. Many mothers feel taken for granted, unappreciated, and burned out. They feel overworked, trying to be their mother's daughter, their husband's wife, and their children's mother. I cannot slow down. Workaholic may say, I cannot afford to slow down, but their bodies know they can afford not to. The weaknesses of workaholic is waking hours are spent feeling tense and rush. Doing less to accomplish more. Lean and Cridge needed to re-examine the time of schedule in order to restore vitality to accomplish more their lives and relationship.
The next thing to discuss is about making peace with expectations and doubts. I wish I could be happy. They say that when the bird is flying higher, it hurts more when bird falls. Couple named Walter and Irene love each other. Two lovers have many dreams in life. Couples want to have big house, children, and one big happy family. But in the next day, Walter and Irene will become sad because their dream of one big happy family surprisingly did not happen. They have no kids until now. The house not bigger than the expected house, and couples depend on each other. They'll say, I'll be responsible for your happiness and you will be responsible to your mine. So many expectations that they didn't know because it will focus to their plans. There's nothing wrong to expect in life, but we look to the reality in the present. Do not expect to the future because no one knows what will happen. Many people or many teenagers expect that we will have a good future life if we will finish study in college because it expect more money and jobs. Happiness and achievements depends on the present and reflect to the future. For example, if you study hard in reviewing the test, you will make a high score. It is just like a life. Work hard and learning from the experiences makes the unexpected makes expected. So think positive but don't expect too much. That's the life. The next is overcoming self-doubt and fear. People are afraid of risking challenges and problems. Robin is a successful sales executive, rich woman and has a luxurious life, but even she has a lot of money, Robin has a self-doubt and fear in life. She not really like her job. She was dependent on her husband and she did not fulfill her dream even though she was old now. She wants to be happier in life, but the doubts in life seems to be attached to her personality. A lot of people are scared because they don't want to fail. It is very wrong because experiences learns to become a better you. You have to stumble in life. Everything is not easy. Life are full of hard problems. There is nothing wrong with trying. They say try and try until you succeed. If you become brave in trying all the opportunities without making self-doubt and fear in yourself, you will know more about the importance of life and happiness.